All right, so this is the warm-up. So I pulled in, the 4 people that I pulled in, you're going to get a piece of candy. Okay, we'll start to do this now. So if you get it right and it's neat and I can pull it in, then you earn yourself a piece of candy. So this one says line T is tangent to the circle. Find the value of X. So I'll zoom in on it to figure out who it is, okay? But what's true about an angle that's formed by a tangent line and a chord? What's true about the measure? What's the measure relationship between that angle and the arc?
Half.
Good. It's half. So this is Fernando's. Fernando took half of 230, which is 115 degrees. Raise your hand if you got it right. Good. Okay, then we had 2 chords that formed that floating angle. Okay, floating angle, I add the 2, divide by 2. This is Emily V's. Okay, 1/2 of 68 plus 36, which is 104. 1/2 of 104 is 52. Most people got that right. Raise your hand if you got it right. Good. Okay, the outside angle. So this is now an angle that's formed by, this one's 2 secants. And the formula for this is the big minus little divided by 2. So this is Alejandro's. The big arc is 72. The little arc is 22. Subtract those, you get 50. 50 divided by 2 is 25. Questions on that one? Hands up for it being right. Good. Okay, and then this is the last one. It says line T is tangent to the circle. Find the value of X and Y. So this is where it got a little bit trickier. Okay, so X is the small arc that's intercepted by the angle 27. So I would do big arc, which is 135, minus X divided by 2 equals 27. The work for that is here. Okay, whose is this? This is Lourdes. So big arc, this is hers, minus little arc, which is X, divided by 2 was 27. Multiply 2 on both sides, got 54. 135 minus X equals 54. Subtract the 135. She got negative X equals negative 81. Divide or multiply by negative 1, and X is 81 degrees. So then once you have that, Y is what kind of angle? Inscribed. And the inscribed has what relationship to the arc it intercepts? It's half its measure. So half of 81 is 40.5. Questions on any of the warm-ups? Okay, good. Okay.
We're done with the chapter, right?
Oh. All right, so I'm going to go over 9. So 9 is the one where you've got a floating angle. Okay, this time I would either have to figure out what this arc is and this arc is and then use it with X. Or I could use these 2 arcs to find out what this angle is, or the vertical angle, and then do 180 minus that to get, or 180 minus that to get the X. So if I do that, like if I were to just give this a random name, so I'm calling it angle Y, then 30 plus 2x minus 30 divided by 2 equals y. And then I would solve this equation. So 30 minus 30 cancels out. 2x over 2 equals y, and x equals y. So now when I look at this, it's basically telling me that these 2 have the same value. And the only way that two angles can be the same but form a line is if they're both 90 degrees, which is why that's 90 degrees. So you kind of have to introduce a second variable in order to figure that one out. Okay? But once you cancel them out, hopefully it's okay. Not so bad. And then 17. So this one said in the diagram, a circle is inscribed in triangle PQR. Find arc EF, arc FG, and the measure of arc GE. So I've got the external angles for each one, but what I don't have is the internal parts. Okay? So we did this yesterday. Who wants to describe how? Emily, you remember how you did it? Aurel, you remember how you did it?
I understood, but I don't understand it now.
Okay, so let's pick one angle first. Let's talk about it.
Is this going to be on the
Yeah, that's hard.
There's it's not the exact same thing, but it's similar into which you could have 2 unknowns. You got to figure it out. Probably just not 3 combined. So let's just pretend. Let's pretend it started like this. Pretend I had a circle. Okay, let's say I had just one of those, right? So I have, again, 2 unknowns, and the only time this works is if they're 2 tangents. So those are 2 tangents. So let's pick either of them to be in the X. Let's say I want to first find this arc, okay? Because that arc goes from here to here, What's the rest of the circle? 360 minus x. Good. So this would be 360 minus x. Now if I wanted to find x, I can use my big minus little divided by 2. So 360 minus x divided by 2 equals 60 degrees. So 360 minus 2x multiplied by 2 would equal 120. Negative 2x would equal negative 240. And x would equal 120. So now I know that this is 120. This would be 360 minus 120, which is 240. So now pretend that you have angle R and not the other two, right? Because we could start there. So a circle, two tangents, R is 80 degrees. So let's say we call this x. What would be the rest of the circle? 360 minus x. So then I would get 360 minus x divided by 2 equals 80. 360 minus 2x would equal 160. Negative 2x would equal negative 200, and x would equal 100. So this arc is 100. So now I know this arc, I know this arc. Can I find that third arc without going through the whole process again? How?
Plug the numbers in?
I can add 120 and 100, right? So that'd be 220, subtract it from 360, 220, subtract it from 360. And I get 140. Or I knew that these two added up to 240, so I could have just subtracted 100 from it.
That's hard.
So I'll give you one that's just. Okay, most of you put it on AC? Yes, can I assume that you did this? What's the big arc? 360 minus x. So 360 minus x, because this is big, this is little, divided by 2 equals 50, which means 360 minus 2x equals 100, because you multiply 2 on both sides. Negative 2x equals negative 260, and x would equal 130. So that's this arc, which is arc AC, which tells you that arc ABC would be 360 minus 130, which is 230. How many of you got it right? Okay. Don't lie. I'd rather